With all handling, there's no right or wrong. It's on how you and your dog best manage a particular situation on course. That should dictate your handling. Does it mean you shouldn't train for something different? Absolutely not, because there might be a time where something different works better. So you should always consider all of your options and then train for those other options, even though you may not use them a lot on course. For example, I do very few rear crosses. I teach them because they are useful in many places on course. There are several ways that you can handle this threadle. Most people will naturally try to do the rear cross. Come down off the A-frame, send your dog over, pull your dog back, rear cross on the flat, and send the dog over. Others who don't necessarily have that type of behavior trained will do a front cross and then back around to a backside and into the tunnel. The other option is a blind cross. You bring your dog, you tell them to go forward, but you quickly blind cross them and then send them around the backside. For my dogs, the best way for me to handle this sequence is to come off the A-frame, or give my pre-cue. I don't want to give it back on the A-frame because they're focusing on the A-frame. I want them to finish it completely. They've come off the A-frame and now they're looking ahead to the next jump, which is in their view. As they come about midway, I'm going to do my pre-cue. So the pre-cue is just telling them a different cue is coming that's a little bit weird maybe. I am going to grab them here. This is a front cross and send them around the backside. The placement of your crosses will make a huge difference in how tightly your dog turns, how much distance you need to cover, and how much distance your dog covers. It equals to time at the end of the course. So ideally you would have tight turns if your dog is physically capable of that. I have little dogs, they turn very tightly, they're structured well for that. Bigger dogs like Border Collies have a good structure for those tight turns. You want to get it as tight as you can for your dog. When we look at the placement of crosses in this sequence, if I go too far, if I go too deep here, my dog is going to focus more forward because I haven't told them anything else. That's one reason why that pre-cue is really important. But even if I pre-cue and I bring them too far this way, they now have to zigzag. And they have to change their lead on the fly. It's abrupt to them. If I give the pre-cue, they're better able to read that and change leads. Placement for the front cross handling on this threadle, ideally, is roughly parallel to the plane of the two jumps. So as I bring my dog up to this, remember I'm pre-cueing, I don't want to go deep, and I don't want to go too shallow. I could do it from here, but then look, the dog has to go all the way around my body before they even see the jump. So the ideal placement is right parallel. So I'm cued, I'm parallel with it, I stay in line, step forward to the backside. That will enable you to get tighter turns and get yourself out of the way. So if I stay parallel, my dog sees the jump as they come around my body. So they don't have to make a weird loop to see the jump. They see it right here. My hand supports the foot backside of this jump. The So is the pre-cued, I step forward, my right foot is in line with the 2 jumps, grab my dog, I step back, I start leaning back this way, and notice I take a really big step. I'm leaning my weight on my right foot now. My foot comes with my hand to bring the backside. Then I can launch off, because all my weight is now on my left foot, I can launch off in the correct direction. So fluidly, it looks roughly like this. Pre-cue. And there we go. Now, some people might suggest that a Backie-Uppie might work for this. A Backie-Uppie is simply backing up towards an obstacle. It was coined by Linda Mecklenburg. In a Backie-Uppie, you're initially making forward motion towards the obstacle. So my dog is moving with me on my right hand. I want to make a tight turn around this obstacle to go back the opposite direction. Linda Mecklenburg does this. She turns and faces her dog, which cues a slow down of the dog's forward motion. But she supports this obstacle by continuing backwards. The dog gets the obstacle. You've got just enough room for the dog to come between you and the obstacle, and then you go back the other way. So it would look like this. And it's used to cue a really tight turn around an obstacle. Susan Garrett does something very similar. For her, this is called a check-check. She continues her forward motion. The dog is on this hand. She keeps the dog on this hand and says check, check, check. The dog makes a tight turn, just enough room between you and the dog to come through, and she picks the dog back up on this hand. The difference is the offhand. So Susan uses this off-sided hand because she's going to use this hand in another cue later. So a Backie-Uppie occurs before the dog goes through, and you can start you can with training Backie-Uppie your dog over here. The dog goes through, and then you could be right here to go say to this obstacle. It's all in the training for that distance. Same with Susan Garrett. She can send her dog this way, pick her dog up, and go into that obstacle. So in this scenario, if you do a front cross, we discussed previously that you would use a pre-cue. The pre-cue is what tells the dog, helps tell the dog to slow down, in addition to your deceleration. So a Backie-Uppie can work, but you have to be very careful on where you put it. It is used to cue a tight turn, which is what we want through this threadle. So Backie-Uppie, cues that deceleration, dog is running towards me. I need to carry my momentum. Notice my foot is parallel once again to these obstacles. I carry my momentum, step back. I'm leaning on the right foot so that my dog has enough room, because as I bring my hand back this way, this foot moves to support this obstacle with a rapid lateral away from the dog to go to that tunnel that was the off course. It's essentially the same thing in that scenario as using a front cross. It just cues the slow down a little sooner. Now, why would I choose a pre-cue front cross versus a Backie-Uppie? To me, for my dogs, a Backie-Uppie means a really tight turn. And it's the same with the Susan Garrett check-check. It's a really tight turn, and it tells the dog we're actually going to turn back on our path and go back in the opposite direction. So go back where we came from. So the Backie-Uppie would be this tight turn, and I'm going back on the direction. Same with the Susan Garrett. Check, 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 check. Back in the opposite direction. With training, your dog becomes familiar with the motion, the body presentation, your relationship to the obstacle, and your verbal to know, hey, tight turn, really tight turn, because we're going back the other way. In a threadle, I want a tight turn, but I don't want to go back on the same path. So I would instead use a pre-cue, and if you remember before, my pre-cue was the dog's coming from this direction. I look over my shoulder, wiggle my off hand, telling my dog, wait a minute, something's coming up, which cues the deceleration because now they've changed their focus from obstacle to handler. Something's coming up. I continue to move forward to support this hoop. And that's when I turn. Now, does this look very similar to a Backie-Uppie? Yes, it does. Or Susan Garrett check check. It does. Let's look at that again. Coming this way, look over my shoulder, pre-cue, coming, 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 and turn. The most important thing about this is that the timing is different. So with a check, I would be turning sooner, right? Because that's turning sooner gives them more time to collect and turn and change leads if necessary. Same with the Backie-Uppie. Turn sooner, I throw my arm back, they can change leads and it tells them tight, tight turn. And notice I'm already facing the direction I'm going in both scenarios. In a pre-cue, front cross is a pre-cue with a front cross. Pre-cue is here, I am still going fully towards this obstacle. But my body language, my trained behavior here is slow down. We're doing something, and for my dogs with the pre-cue, it means we're turning in the other direction. So they know that they're not going back, they're going that way. So I turn, and they know that I'm going to clear out of their path to send them somewhere else. Dogs learn your body motion. So it's very important to keep your body motion consistent. That's why you try very hard to keep particular cues for particular situations. That is why I would not use a Susan Garrett check or a Linda Mecklenburg Backie-Uppie in this situation, because that says 180. My pre-cue tells my dog, I'm going to do a front cross. And they know this because I've always done it this way. Front cross, but we are turning, and we're going this way, and I'm going to clear a path for you to go. That's what my dog knows. I can make this even clearer in the finish obstacle here by giving an around cue, a backside cue. For me, it's a la 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 la. So I can make sure they know that this is a tight turn. And this is why. So a check and a la 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 are both 180s. So watch. Pre-cue, I turn, there's my front cross. I give my a la 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 to go the back side. And isn't this a 180? So that's why I can support this with an around or a la 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 la, because it's a 180-degree turn. Consistent with my cues. Normally I don't say a la 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 because my dogs know that means I'm going to draw away. But a verbal cue adds information, so a la 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 is not incorrect. We also discussed the blind cross option. The blind cross addition, same thing, I would give a pre-cue, because if you just run like this and blind cross, They have no indication that you're turning. They're just going to drive forward with you and then go big and wide. So for this instance, if I'm going to do a blind cross, I once again give my pre-cue. A blind cross can often take the place of a front cross, so it means the same thing to my dog. The pre-cue means we're going that way. It's a 90-degree turn essentially with my pre-cues. Pre-cue, and then I drop my shoulder. I do not like the back cross in this situation because it's not clear enough and your positioning has to be much more accurate. If you blind cross here, your dog will come off the jump. If you drive too far to get your blind cross, your dog might carry around you. In the case of using a pre-cue with the blind cross, pre-cue, I send them through this obstacle. Notice I'm planting my feet parallel with the line of the obstacles. I throw my arm back this way. I do that with most of my blind crosses. I throw my arm this way, looking back over my shoulder, pick them up, and give them the backside. In motion. It has to be very fast, very sharp, and in exactly the right location. Blind cross. Pre-cue. Supporting this obstacle. Bam! Into the backside. I like the front cross in this situation once again because in the blind cross, my position's unstable and I have to be a lot more precise or I'll fall over. With the front cross, my position is much more stable. So notice I've got a nice wide base here. Nice wide base so that this can fully support my weight to send to the backside, fully supporting my weight, launch. In the blind cross, I'm less stable. Pre-cue, I have to be parallel, right? I need to land parallel. Parallel, throw my arm back, spin, and now look how unbalanced I am. You know, I'm kind of, my weight's almost completely on my right leg, but because I'm twisting in this manner, it's tweaking my knee a lot more than the front cross, which is kind of unusual when you think of blind crosses. But then I have to somehow get this foot out of the way. And to do that, I'm having to get all that weight on this foot, get this foot out of the way, then step forward. And see how it makes me unbalanced? That was not fake, that was real. So it makes me unbalanced. I still have my weight here for the launch, but I'm more unbalanced in this setup. If you have your feet planted solidly in that front cross, much more stable. So then you can support your dog fully without having to be all twinky, you know, over your shoulder, and you can get this a lot cleaner.